Hello, Whovians, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I continue my reviews of the Matt Smith era and Series 5 of Doctor Who, with The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, the first two-part story in Matt Smith's tenure as the 11th Doctor, but also the return of the Weeping Angels and Professor River Song. Okay, well, after the success of Blink in Series 3, it was very clear that the Weeping Angels were very popular amongst the Doctor Who fans, so Stephen Moffat, now being the showrunner, could pretty much do what he wanted, so he could bring his own creation back to the screen. And the plot of The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone is as follows. The enigmatic River Song hurtles back into the 11th Doctor's life, but she's not the only familiar face returning. The Weeping Angels are back. Following River's calling card, the Doctor is recruited to help track down the last of the Angels, which has escaped from the Byzantium Starliner and into the terrifying Maze of the Dead. The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. I would love to just jump right in and say, yes, this is a fantastic entry into Matt Smith's era. This is a great return for the Angels, but that would be lying, because I'm afraid I wasn't huge on this story. Look, I don't hate the story. I think it's mediocre, but I kind of enjoyed parts of it. I liked the first part. I think The Time of Angels was quite good. Flesh and Stone, however, it's not a total disaster, but man, oh man, how disappointing can you get? The problem with this story is, first of all, the Angels themselves. I like seeing them back, and I think in the first part they did a pretty good job at maintaining what made them scary, although for some reason they don't trap people in another time period now. For now they just break people's necks, but oh well, that's Moffat for you. The fact that Stephen Moffat chose to make the Angels move, and the fact that we see them move, just ruins the entire essence of what makes them scary for me. Now, because we see them move in this story, it just creates the wrong effect, and it totally takes me out of the moment. I totally lost interest in the story by the time I got to that point in Flesh and Stone, and I thought, you know what, this is just not working for me. It's really not working for me, and I was really sad, because I thought the first part was quite good and it built up rather well, and I think that perhaps maybe if the story was one part, it would have worked out a lot better. Yeah, so I think the story's a bit too long for its own good. It does drag, particularly in the second part, it does drag. There is one other thing, though, which I just cannot forgive. At the very end of the story, Amy tells the Doctor that she was getting married to Rory in the next morning. For some reason, which I cannot fathom, Amy decides to throw herself at the Doctor, and Amy decides to start kissing the Doctor. Kissing in Doctor Who has not been uncommon up to this point. I mean, in the Russell T Davies era, and even in the TV movie, we've seen the Doctor kiss his companions, and certainly with David Tennant, that was very prominent. I mean, Tennant was a very good-looking guy. And I get it, Matt Smith is a young guy, he's quite good-looking, and of course there are going to be moments like this. But it's the way it was done. It was very ill-timed for me. I just don't understand why Amy starts acting so horny, basically. She says, oh, I'm getting married in the morning, so it made me think about what I want, about who I want. Clearly, she's a bit infatuated with the Doctor. I mean, obviously, as time goes on, they do rectify this mistake, and she does prove that she loves Rory. But this scene comes out of fucking nowhere, and it's just almost really uncomfortable to watch, because, yeah, I just don't think it needed to happen. I really don't, especially the fact that she's getting married the next day to another man. It just makes her look really sleazy, and really, it made me dislike Amy for a little while, but as the series went on and Amy's time in the show goes on, she does become a better character, but it's just the fault of the writing from Stephen Moffat. Oh god, do a good job, but it's a really terribly written scene. It just comes out of nowhere, and I get it. Amy was kind of scared. She thought she was going to die, and I suppose in that sense she thought of the Doctor as her knight in shining armor. I mean, they're going for this sort of fairy tale vibe for Series 5, but the kiss scene should have been removed, and I'll talk more about the outcome and the aftermath of the kiss in the next story, Vampires of Venice, because we do get to see the fallout of that. I quite like the return of River Song. I think Alex Kingston does quite a good job. I mean, River Song's not my favourite character in Doctor Who, but we still have that sense of mystery surrounding her. This is only her second story, and I'm still with it. I'm still interested to see where Moffat is going to take it. And it's kind of interesting to see how her chemistry is very different from Matt Smith to David Tennant, because we first saw her in Series 4 with Tennant, but now we're seeing a bit more of her, and she's acting a bit more flirty, a bit more cocky, a bit more confident. But that's an issue with the Moffat era. That's all the women in the Moffat era seem to be written as archetypes or stereotypes, if you will. So yeah, take that how you will. Genuinely, Alex Kingston does give a very good performance, and it's a solid performance from her. And there's still a bit of mystery surrounding her. We don't really find out anything major about Riversong in this story, other than that she's engaged to a bishop. That being said, the bishop doesn't look like a bishop. He looks like a soldier, because apparently the church has moved on, as the Doctor says. There are some genuinely tense scenes in this story. Like, I quite like the scene when Amy, gets the angel in her eye, and she's rubbing her eye, and she has to walk blindfolded in the forest with the Doctor's help. That's kind of a tense scene. I do kind of enjoy that. And like I said, the Maze of the Dead stuff is all really cool, and the visuals of this story are excellent. I think the story looks very good, and that there is a nice sort of creepy atmosphere to that first part of the story. And then Matt Smith ends the first part with a really good speech where he actually takes a gun and shoots the ceiling to change the gravity so they can escape the angels. He says something like, there's one thing you would never put in a trap if you value your continued existence. If you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there is one thing you will never ever put in a trap. Me. And I love that ending. That is an awesome ending to the first part, I have to admit. But for me, the story, it's quite slow. And I just find that the angels were not handled very well. I just feel like Moffat completely contradicted his own creation, which is weird. And also, like, the angels using Bob, using a human's voice. I don't know how they can do that, but it's not really explained. But I mean, it was a nice little touch. There's some decent comedy from Matt Smith. I mean, Matt Smith is quite good as the Doctor. I think he's actually getting better as the stories go on, I think. Karen Gillan as Amy Pond is very good in this story, apart from the end of the story, but that's not her fault as such. And I think the supporting cast are quite good. We have Father Octavian, who's sort of the leader of the the church militia, shall we say. He doesn't really trust the Doctor at first, but then again, he doesn't trust River Song, and he gives the Doctor a warning, says don't trust River, because again, there's the whole mystery surrounding River Song that she's from his future and he's from her past, so they're meeting out of order, and she's got a journal with all his faces, and she knows when she's gonna come across a version of the Doctor. The opening of the story is quite good. How River ends up flying out of the airlock and into the TARDIS, although I don't know how she can breathe in space for that long, but yeah, whatever. There's also more mystery surrounding the crack in the wall. There's a nice prelude there, and also some of the soldiers go and investigate it, and they don't remember the other soldiers. So there's a lot of nice little mysteries and tidbits left for the finale, but the story as a whole, I just think it's a bit of a drag, to be honest. I think some of the scenes work, other scenes don't. I'm really mixed on it, to be honest. I just can't give it a pass. I'm sorry. It's just because of how they mistreated the angels. I think if we didn't see the angels move, I probably could have given this story a pass. It's just kind of a filler story. There's not really much to it. It should have been much more grand and much more bigger than it was, and I think Moffat intended it to be that because it was 2 parts. But I don't think it's awful, because it does have some merits, but there are some things I would have personally done very differently. So in the end, I'm going to give The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone 5 out of 10. Yeah, I know that's quite a low score, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, that's just my opinion, I'm afraid. So that's my review of The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. What do you think? Please comment down below, let me know, and please hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this. It's always appreciated. And stay tuned next time when I review The Vampires of Venice. So until then, I'm Mr. TARDIS11, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye for now.